Welcome to the Talk Fest, a blend of passion and movement arts, technology, and entrepreneurialism. Bringing new ideas to the world through engaging stories and guests designed to flip your world upside down. Introducing your host, the web slinger himself, Matthew Hissong.
What is going on, everyone? Matthew Hissong here. We are going to dive into mindset, perspective, and this little contraction called can't. I don't want to go too much into the introduction, but I'm really excited about this interview, and DeMont Pope and I are a part of a public speaking group, and we go in and inspire and motivate other people with our public speaking, and this really caught both of our attention as far as how destructive the word can't really is. So without further ado, let's carry on. Welcome to the Talk Fest with your host, the Web Slinger. As always, we have a special guest for you guys tonight. And I really want to introduce this episode with the little contraction can't. So we're going to be hitting all about this. We've got my man, DeMont Pope, in the house. He's an inspirational speaker. He is an inspirer. And DeMont, take it away, man. Give the audience an introduction and tell us how great you are and what your mission is and everything.
Hey, Matthew, it's first of all, let me say thank you for this opportunity, man. Thank you. When you reached out to me, I was beyond ecstatic, man. I was so excited. I said, yes, somebody that finally gets it, right? Somebody that finally gets it. So as you already covered, I am an inspirational speaker, a motivational speaker, primarily in the youth and young adult student space, from middle school to high school, and even some college students. And it's just been a blessing, man, and an honor to go out and impact the world in the way that I've been able to, man, and meet wonderful people like yourself. So I'm thankful for the gift. I'm thankful for the opportunity again, man.
Always appreciate my guests coming on. And I love just diving into topics that I'm super passionate about, but I love when somebody else has a passion in the same area. So DeMont and I are in the same Facebook group, a great inspirational group. We've got some big movers and shakers in that group. And DeMont put up a video, I think it was, and he was using the word can't. And I've really hit home on the word can't from coaching gymnastics for so many years and how destructive that little word is. DeMont, you want to kind of go into that a little bit? How easy is it to start using that word, and what's the effect that it's going to have in your life as you continue on?
Listen, Matthew, I definitely want to get into this. It's a small word, 4-letter word. I like to call it profanity in my house. It's a forbidden word, to be honest with you. It's a simple word that we use effortlessly, and we use it too loosely. But what it does is it immobilizes us, Matthew. It paralyzes us, and it prevents us from doing whatever it is that we're attempting to achieve. See, the human brain, once we use the word can't, it automatically shuts down the brain so that our body does not mobilize or does not function. And my mission as I speak to these young people is a play on my last name, which is Pope, P-O-P-E. It's purpose over pointless excuses, Matthew. So when we say the word can't, right, we automatically give ourselves a pointless excuse as to why we can't achieve, or as to why we can't overcome, or as to why we can't do whatever it is we're trying to do. So if we learn to alleviate that, like completely, totally eradicate it from existence out of our vocabulary, we'd be surprised at the things that we're able to accomplish that we wouldn't even attempt to accomplish. But if we lose that word can't, Matthew, and replace that word can't with something like I will try, right? As a matter of fact, I don't even like to use the word try, right? I will figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I will figure it out, because guess what? If we really want to accomplish something, we'll find a way to do it, Matthew. But if we don't want to do it, we'll find an excuse. So as I speak the words purpose over pointless excuses, can't is a huge pointless excuse. Like, what's the point? to the word can't, Matthew.
Woo. No, honestly, no. And it really does. I use it as a profanity too. Not that I'm really fond of cussing or anything like that, but I would have students, especially in like the high school realm, where they're kind of experimenting with cussing and stuff like that. And I'll kind of look at them pretty stern if they drop the F-bomb in front of me, and I'm, hey, that's not okay here. But they say I can't, and I will literally stop them in their tracks. They say, don't you dare say that in front of me. That is so venomous as far as it leaches into everything you do. And it's not just the word, it's the mindset that comes with it. It really does shape the way you think about something. And Henry Ford said it best, right? Whether you can or you can't, or whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. Because it starts with that first initial phase. If you say that word, can't, let's just stop now. I'm not even worth. It's not even worth trying. You know what I mean? Because it's not that you're unable to. It's that you're unwilling to.
Say that. That's what I'm talking
is
about.
why the destructive nature of that word really comes from. It's because it takes over your mindset, and it puts a brick wall in the ability of that movement, that action, that creative endeavor, whatever you're trying to create or build. I mean, it just it's a brick wall. You know what I mean? And I always like to rephrase it kind of like you do. I would always say, I'm working on it. It's not that I can't, it's I'm working on it, coach.
There we go.
There we go. Unable to at the current moment, but I'm trying to figure out how to accomplish it. I'm still working towards this goal. I'm not putting up a brick wall in front of it. And, you kind of briefly mentioned it earlier. I mean, I just had my kid say it today. He's like, oh, I can't. Oh, I said the bad word. You know what I mean?
There it is. There it is.
He caught himself. So speak on that as far as from a parent perspective. I've got 2 and 1 on the way of my own. You said you've got 5 kids, correct?
5. I've got 5, and congratulations to yours. It's on the way, man. I know that's exciting. It's exciting every time there's a new one. I've done it 5 times. I've done it 5 times, Matthew. I can't believe it. But listen, the thing is, from a father's standpoint, we want the best for our children, right? And it's heartbreaking when you see your child full of potential, right? Full of right? Full of power to create their future. And this one word, and I call it profanity in my household because I know the effects that it's had on me growing up. And we'll get into that in a little later if you allow. But from me as a father, looking at my 3 sons and my 2 daughters, right? When they say the word can't, to me, it's almost admitting failure, right? It's admitting failure before you even give an attempt, right? So, and again, like you said, I like the way you used it, Matthew, when you said it's like building a wall, right? So if you're attempting to do something and you build a wall in front of you prior to you attempting to do it, what's the point, right? Right? Why would you build a wall? So as a father, I try to implement in my children right now at a young age that certain words are not to come out of your mouth, because your words, they create your actions, right? And your actions, they create your habits, right? And your habits become your personality. And if your personality is can't, then what are you? What are you? You see what I'm saying?
Man, you see Demont and I getting up in our seats. We're getting super excited about this.
Yeah, man.
It really is. And I mean, there was times where, we were teaching some gymnasts to go to compete at state and nationals, and they're competing on, 4-inch beam, and they're doing back handsprings, back flips, and different things on this 4-inch beam, handstands, and then doing a full tumbling past the dismount and everything. And I mean, it was crazy how we can build for years and years and years. And then as soon as they start saying that word, it's like just downhill, nothing, no progress for the rest of the day. And so it really is such a subtlety, but you know what? Let's flip the script a little bit. What happens when you do take it out? What's where does that fire come from? You know what I mean? Because I know you've experienced this, because I've experienced this, and mine's kind of more in like a stunt acrobatic realm, right? Like, and if I did a gainer off of like a 2-story building at one point for like a parkour demo reel, and I'm like going in, and I said, oh man, I'm not sure I could do this. I can't do this. And I looked at myself and I said, don't you dare. Don't you dare say those words.
That's right.
So, because if you say it, you're already right. There's no way around those words. There's no way. And I said, all right, what if I can? I said, okay, what if I can? You know what if I can? Wait a second. Hold on.
Come on, Matthew.
You know what I mean?
On.
And so then I always like to say, I always talk about fear, right? Everybody says false evidence appearing real as the acronym for fear.
Right.
And my whole thing is I come from a firefighting family, a medical family, and then I do stunts and acrobatics. What if it's not false evident? Hold on a second. If there's a real fear here, like I'm afraid of stepping on a burning fire, like a burning building, the roof's going to cave in on me. That is a real fear.
That's a real fear.
That's a real fear. There's no false evidence about it. And so I really like to take the fears into consideration because it's like any other emotion, right? If you don't deal with it head on, it's going to rear its ugly head. It's going to open Pandora's box in the most inopportune moment.
Absolutely.
So what I always like to do is I like to use the analogy, follow, evaluate, acknowledge, and respond. So you follow each fear. You evaluate the actual priority of that fear. Like, is this do or die kind of moment? Or is this don't do it because you're going to get hurt kind of moment? Is this don't do it because this is just not a good idea moment? Risk versus reward. You know what I mean? Evaluate every single thing. And then I'll acknowledge the ones that actually have priority, right? If I'm about to do a backflip, I've got to acknowledge that there is a real fear of landing on my head and the consequences of landing on my head. So I'm going to evaluate. And then I'm going to acknowledge that one. And I'm going to say, okay, so instead I'm going to jump higher. I'm going to make sure that I rotate faster. I'm going to commit more. And that's my response, right? So follow, evaluate, acknowledge, and respond. So just kind of wanted to hand that back off to you. What happens when you do take away can't? What happens?
Listen, when we erase the word can't, we instantly unlock, right? Possibility, right? We instantly unlock confidence, right? We instantly unlock the ability, right? Because once we remove can't, all we've done is trained our brain instantly to figure out a way. And once we've released that into the atmosphere, Matthew, there is no if, and, or buts about it. Once we've alleviated the existence of whatever that fear is, and we've alleviated that word can't from the vocabulary, all there is do. It's
all
either
there is how at that point. Like, how am I going to accomplish? Because it's going to get done.
It's going to get done. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it, Matthew. It's going to get done. And that's what we have to do. That's what we have to lock into. That's what we have to focus on. We have to focus on the how. Right? We spend so much time focusing on the problem and not the solution, right? We need to learn to be solution focused problem solvers. And I like how that sounds. So I'm going to say it again, solution focused problem solver. So if we're focused on the solution, right, to every problem, there's a solution, correct? And if there's no solution, then there's no problem, right? So if we alleviate the word can't from our vocabulary, then there is no such thing as an impossibility because the word impossible itself implies impossible. You get what I'm saying? So with that being in mind, whatever it is we set our mind to, right? And whatever we set our mouths to, guess what? Our bodies is going to immobilize for, and we're going to figure out a way how to do that. And there's power in the word can. There's power in the word can, Matthew.
There is. There's a lot of power.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are afraid of that power. They're afraid of their own potential and they're afraid of success. A lot of times people have almost this weird emotional trauma of success. It's like, I don't deserve success. I don't deserve to have anything good happen to me. Speak on that for a little bit. How do you take somebody who thinks that they're unworthy for success, for good things to happen to them, to allow themselves to start using the word can? How do you shift that mindset a little bit?
Now, you're touching on a sensitive subject now, Matthew. You're getting personal, man, because that has been a part of my struggle in my early childhood. You know what I mean? I was plagued with that mentality of I can't do this, I can't do that. Oh, I'm not as tough as the other guys. I'm not as cool as the other guys. And I struggled with that insecurity and that feeling of inferiority, right? And what it did was I not only was lying to myself, Matthew, but I began to believe the lies. So everything I did personified what I couldn't do. And I was stuck, right? I was stuck and there was no one keeping me trapped, Matthew. There was no one keeping me from doing whatever it was that I aspired to do. There was no one there literally forcing me to stay stagnant in the mindset and in the physical state that I was in. There was no one there but me. But when I realized that regardless of what I've seen, regardless of the problems that's happened to me, regardless of if I can see one person, Matthew, that has done it, if one person can do it,
Let's
if one
go.
person, man, listen, if one person can do it, then it's possible. And I found out that it was possible because I began to take my eyes off of what I couldn't do. And I began to focus on the people that were doing what I was aspiring to do. And then I realized that there was a message to it. There was a key to it. It was a secret to it. All you had to do was believe. All you have to do is believe. And once you believe, that belief will motivate and inspire you when no one else is around. But you have to know that it's a real situation. And you have to know that you're not alone. You're not the first person, right? Whoever's listening to this, they're not the first person that has been in that predicament, right? So me, myself, going through that, growing up the way I grew up, like I didn't have many options. I wish that I came from a firefighting family or a family that was doing some amazing things. Now, I came from a good family, a good loving family. We took care of each other, but my household struggle wasn't the ideal situation, right? I wasn't afforded opportunities that a lot of my friends were getting. So I took the victim mind state and I was thinking, oh, woe is me. And a lot of our children are taking that attitude and that approach to life because they're thinking about what happened to them as opposed to what they can do about it, right? Once we step into what we can do about it, we start unlocking the power of the can.
Oh,
yeah, man. Oh. Yeah. I told you, man, you starting something, man. You got personal with me, man. Don't do that to me, man. Don't do that.
No, man. And I love the fire. I love the passion behind it and everything. You know, I didn't even get to ask you what your one hurdle or struggle has been in your life that you've had to overcome to encourage the growth and become the person you are today. You want to speak on that for a little bit?
Absolutely. The biggest hurdle I had was accepting myself for who I was, accepting my differences, believing that no matter what the circumstances around me was, my conclusion, or put it like this, right? I learned, right, that right now, my insecurity was not my identity. All right. I'm going to say that again in case someone missed that, Matthew. I had to realize that the insecurity was not my identity, meaning that I was not defined, right, by the projection that I had placed on myself, right? Because I had been lying to myself. And it's one thing about it, once a lie is confronted with the truth, the lie loses all of its potency. It loses all of its power, right? So I realized that I was more, right, than I thought I could be. I was more than what I saw outside of my front door. I was more than what I was told by the bullies that were trying to push me around, right? I was more than that. And it wasn't until I finally realized it, because I can tell you all day long, Matthew, you're awesome. Matthew, you're great. Matthew, you're doing wonderful things. But it's until you believe it for yourself and until you start to look at yourself in the I can mentality, that's when the change starts to take place. And that's when it took place for me. When I overcame that, I overcame the fact that my inner me was my greatest enemy.
Oh,
man.
Dang,
listen,
say it louder for the kids in the back, man.
My inner me was my greatest enemy, man. And I had to get over myself. I had to get over myself and I had to step out of insecurity, Matthew, and I had to step into my authentic self. I had to find my true potential because no, I may not have been able to do some of the things that the other kids were able to do, but I found out that there was something that I can do. And when I do it, there's nobody that can do it like I do. And I just so happen to be doing that very thing right now, Matthew. I found that thing, man, and we're doing it right now, man. That's it. That's it. That's it, bro.
That's it. That's it. Inspiration is free. Pass it on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah. It didn't cost you nothing. It didn't cost you nothing.
One of my biggest messages is I always talk about inspire, and that's that breath in, that breath of life, but it's also in the creative arts as well, that inspiration. And where you get it from is literally just for the inner self. It's for you, the inspiration that fills your body and your soul and everything. And I would always leave my students with this little thing when they weren't really believing in themselves, and I could tell. I said, you know what? Hey, I believe in you. You should too.
Stop it. Stop it. That's one of my favorites. Oh my God. Are you kidding me right now?
Did you see
this guy? Is this, wait a minute. Let me pinch
Did
myself.
we just become best friends?
Wow. I can't believe it, man. Listen, that's the evidence right there. That's the evidence. That's it, bro. I love it. I love it. You just stole the show. I don't have to say another word.
Oh, shoot. Hey, we're wrapping up our show right now. So give the audience one takeaway that they can implement in their lives, one thing that would either help them for themselves or help them inspire other people.
One thing I want you guys to remember, right? First of all, alleviate the word can't, all right? It's a forbidden word, right? There's nothing good in that word for you, right? The other thing I want you to know is that there is greatness on the inside of you, right? You were created with a purpose. There is something that you were put in this physical body to do that no one can do like you can do it, right? And it's not fair to the people that's depending on you, right? For you to sit on those gifts and those amazing talents and those amazing abilities. It's not fair for the people that made the sacrifices to get you where you are today, right? Parents make sacrifices day in and day out that kids don't really understand. I didn't understand it when I was a kid, but now that I am a parent, I am a father of 5 kids, right? And I'm in and out of these schools and I'm seeing the struggles with these children. Let me tell you something. There is nothing that is impossible. There is nothing that you can't do. And as long as you believe in yourself, I'm going to say it just like Matthew said it. I believe in you, but you should too. Not only that, but what if I told you that there was somebody somewhere right now, no matter how young, no matter how old, there is somebody somewhere right now that's looking at you, and they will get their courage just by you having your courage to step out of that insecurity and stepping into your authentic self and being secure in who you are.
Beautiful. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So powerful. So powerful. And it's so funny. We've had an entire conversation about a four letter contraction that is literally venom inside of your life. So I just want to wrap it up with, how do we find more about you? How do we follow you and your journey and the message that you're trying to bring to the masses?
Absolutely. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Demont Pope. That's DEMONTPOPE. The same place for Facebook. I'm also on Twitter at Demont Pope 1, and I'm on LinkedIn at Demont Pope. And you can also visit my website. That's the best place to lock in with me, and that's DemontPope.com. So everything is pretty simple. All the social media handles is Demont Pope. Twitter is Demont Pope 1. And again, the website is DemontPope.com. And again, I'm just honored. And I thank you again, Matthew, for this opportunity. And thank you all for tuning in, paying attention to this conversation between these two friends here.
Man, thank you so much for coming on the show, Demont. I really always just am so inspired by the fuel and the passion that other people can come in and have with a conversation. And man, that was just electric. It was on fire. Wow. So I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hopefully you enjoyed that interview that I had with Demont Pope, and feel free to follow him on all of his social media channels. Like he said, Demont Pope, DEMONTPOPE. That's all we have for today, folks. Hope you are enjoying the Talkfest here with the Web Slinger. If you want to follow me, engage with some people that I might need to bring on for an interview that has some engaging conversations, please direct message me at my Webslinger, MyWebslinger, my Webslinger. That's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook is not on that one. You'll just have to type in Matthew Hisson. Anyways, enjoy. Take care and really feel the inspiration throughout the day.